In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 7 best drivers that are priced under $200. So what we look for whenever we're testing out all the different brands and models is how they actually performed, how the quality was, and also the price. And then we tried the best we could to find some that were better for beginner players, as well as some that were better for higher skill players. So you can kind of go based on whatever your current skill level is. Before we get started, I will just mention our gear giveaway. If you want to enter in, we do it every 1,000 subscribers. Simply subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment giveaway down below. Do those 3 things and you'll be automatically entered. Number 7 is going to be the Taylormade M2 driver. And if you are a fan of Taylormade clubs and you don't want to spend a fortune, then this could be the perfect option for you. It's not my favorite driver personally, but it is light and pretty forgiving on off-center hits. It's still obviously not going to fix that slice though, if that's what you're looking for. Sadly to say, a driver isn't going to do it and you're going to have to get some sort of lessons, some sort of training or whatever. But I will say it definitely is an improvement if you have like an older club. This was designed for mainly like mid to high handicap players who didn't always hit the club very, purely that kind of thing. So if that's you, then this could potentially help you out. The distance is respectable, and I did find that my ball flight was slightly straighter compared to the Taylormade rocket balls I was using before. So it was a slight improvement. If you've used the rocket balls in the past, going to the M2 could benefit you. Pros, I found the performance very similar to the newer M4, which is more money, so that's kind of a good thing. I don't necessarily think the M4 is worth getting over the M2, but I will say the M5 and the M6, the newest ones, they were quite a bit better, but they're going to be quite a bit more expensive too. But pretty much the M2 and M4 get really similar results. You can adjust the loft or change the shaft on the M2, and then it offers a great mix of distance and forgiveness. So it's great for the kind of mid to high handicap player who doesn't need like a whole lot of shot shaping or control with the thing. They just want to hit it long and straight. This could be a good option for that. Cons, if you do slice or hook the ball, then there are probably better options out there. In my experience personally, I found if you want to control over like pure distance, then again there will be better options out there, but overall it is a solid driver that's not going to break the bank. Number 6 is going to be the Ping G30 driver. And Ping drivers have been my favorite for a bit now, and the G30 is a great option that's not overly expensive and is going to give you the results you're after, even though it is a bit of an older model. It's a great club for all skill levels, and the reason I like this driver, or these drivers in particular being Ping, is because of how comfortable they are to swing. They're not like, they're not always the longest or not always the most forgiving, but they feel really solid holding them and swinging them, and that's one of the reasons why I do like them so much. The distance isn't quite as good as some, but consistency is where this thing really shines. So if you want to be able to consistently put it in the fairway, I really found no better option than Ping drivers. So let's jump over to the pros, and the loft can be adjusted and you can switch shafts on it again. You can get the SF version for a draw bias, or you can get the LS version for lower spin based on whatever you want, or there's just the standard. I personally like the standard, but the price point is super reasonable as well since it is a little bit of an older model. Cons, you may have a tough time finding a new one. I found some, but it wasn't always the easiest, but I was able to find some nice used ones on like Craiglist or eBay. And most of the clubs I actually do get generally are used, like they're in good condition. They've maybe only been used for like a season, but you can get them for like way less than normal, and that's what I've been doing and what I've recommended. And it's not as long and forgiving as some of the other ones out there, but it definitely is respectable. Number 5 is going to be the Callaway Big Bertha driver. And if you are a fan of Callaway clubs, then this is still one of my all-time favorite drivers. If you've ever hit the XR16 driver by Callaway, the newer Epic here is going to give you a higher launch. It's going to give you less spin and a bit more distance as well. It's going to work for pretty much all skill levels. They do have a Sub-Zero version too, but I prefer just the standard. And I think most better players do prefer the standard as well, as what I've kind of been reading. But one thing that really stood out for me was how forgiving it was. It wasn't the longest, but man, this thing really was forgiving on off-center hits, which will make it perfect for kind of like your higher handicap player. Pros, the loft can be adjusted and it does have a sliding weight on it. It's one of the more forgiving drivers on this list, and even compared to other more expensive newer drivers, it still was definitely up there. The weight and balance was pretty much perfect on it as well, which is a big plus. Cons, it didn't sound or feel as solid as the XR16 driver did for me personally. You're most likely going to have to find a used one to slip under the $200 mark. Newer ones are going to be over. I'm sure they're going to be coming down in price as the end of golf season comes, but you can definitely find a great used one for under the $200 mark. And then it wasn't the longest for me personally, but it was still respectable. Number 4 is going to be the Cobra King F8 driver, and this driver came out in 2018, but it does still stand up to the newer options, and it's designed for accuracy and staying in the fairway. It wasn't quite as long as some of the others, but I think it's going to benefit a lot of average players because they're not going to be in the trees as much. But obviously, again, as we talked about with the M2, it's still not going to fix that slice if you have a massive slice. No club is going to fix that. You need to work on your swing, but it can definitely help you straighten things out a little bit and get a little bit more accurate off the tee. And it also comes with Cobra Connect, which is pretty cool. And that's going to basically track all of your drives, and it's going to record it in the Cobra Connect app. So you can go in and see, your distances, where your common misses are, all that kind of stuff. So you can look at that and, see all your stats and see kind of what needs to be improved. So that's kind of a cool little feature. Pros, you can get a brand new one for $200. You can adjust the loft and weight of this driver. And then you can get the F8 Plus, which is going to be a lower spinning and more suited for kind of like your better player. Cons, if you want pure distance, then this might not be the one for you. I didn't really like the way it sounded or felt at impact, but that's not going to really impact performance. Performance was solid, and if you do like Cobra clubs, then this could definitely be for you. Number 3 is going to be the Callaway XR16, and this is my all-time favorite driver from Callaway. And even though it did came out a few years ago, I still think it's better than a lot of the newer drivers currently on the market. I really love the way this driver feels and sounds at impact, and just how consistent it is off the tee. Again, it's not as long as like the newer drivers, but I'm definitely fine with that because I was much more consistent and accurate off the tee, which is kind of all I'm really looking for. I'll sacrifice 10 to 20 yards if I can be in the fairway 10-20% more of the time. And then you might have a tough time finding a new one under $200, but I've definitely seen nice used ones on eBay and Craigslist. Pros, the ball always seems to find the fairway with it. The sound and feel at impact is confidence boosting. And then my consistency was a bit better than the GBB Epic, which is why I have it ranked higher and why I like it better. Cons, it's not as forgiving or as long as some of the newer drivers on the market, which is kind of expected though, being that it's quite a few years old. Number 2 is going to be the Cleveland Launcher HB driver. And if you are someone who needs all the forgiveness you can get to bomb it long and straight down the fairway, then this could definitely be for you. It's not the best for better players who want to be able to control the shape of the ball, like drawing and fading, but it's going to give you a nice and high launch. For the general weekend golfer, it's going to be a great option because they generally need to keep it straight, keep it high, keep it long, and this is going to be a good option. You can also pick up a brand new one for under $200 or a used one for even cheaper, which is a big plus. Pros, I love the way the club looks and feels at address. It was the highest launching and straightest driver for me on this list, and pretty much compared to even like the newer drivers, and is perfect for mid to high handicap players. Cons, it has a bit of a crash sound at impact. It doesn't sound the best, but it's not going to really impact the performance. And then it's not going to be the best if you're wanting to shape the ball around, like left to right, right to left, that kind of thing. But overall, it is a really solid driver for your mid to high handicap player. But the number 1 pick is going to be the Ping G400 driver, and this is my current favorite driver, and it's the one I've been using for a while now and absolutely love it. A brand new one is going to put you over the $200 mark, but you can generally pick up a used one on like eBay or Craigslist for cheaper. It's just an all-around great performer in terms of distance, forgiveness, and control off the tee, and that's kind of why I do like it. It's not as forgiving as some on off-center hits, but once you get a little bit better, once you start getting used to the club, you start improving off the tee, you're definitely going to find more fairways with this driver here. Pros, It's still top 3 in pretty much all categories compared to the newer drivers, so like distance, forgiveness, and control. It's pretty much in the top 3 in all of those. And then it is slightly better in all areas compared to the older Ping G30. Cons, it's not the nicest looking driver, but I'm definitely fine with that as long as I'm in the fairway. And then there isn't a whole lot of adjustments on it, just the loft angle. There's no like weights or anything like that, so just the loft. But overall, this is my favorite pick. If you can get a used one, you can generally find them under $200, but pretty much any of the 7 are going to be good. So kind of just go based on whatever kind of brand you're comfortable with and whatever you're looking for specifically. But if you'd like to see more images, more reviews, or get any of these for the lowest price available, click the link in the description down below. At the time of making this video, that was the best place I could find it. So you can go ahead and check out the current price. And if you have any questions, just simply leave a comment down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you haven't already watched and commented on our latest video, click the video card to the left and get yourself another entry into our golf giveaway.